people. So if you end up, thank you for doing that. Shraddha, is that you?
Yes, that was me.
Okay,
That's
okay,
not
okay. I had forgotten. Thank you. So the next concept is we are all souls who are visiting this planet for a human experience. And what I mentioned to you is that soul is evolving. Soul doesn't die, our body dies. That's what our Indian scriptures say. So you have taken this human birth to evolve as a soul. And soul has visited this planet for a purpose. Now, a lot of students that I get, they say, sir, I want to do this and I want to do this. I'm confused between this and this. How many of you are facing that dilemma? Please put up in the chat box. How many of you are facing a dilemma that, oh, I want to do this and maybe this is also good for me. I'm not clear. That means you're not still clear about the purpose of your soul for which you are visiting this planet. And until that purpose becomes clear, your path to progress, your path to accomplishment will not start. So we need to first become clear. And anyone who's facing this issue in personal life, in professional life, please feel free to talk to me. We can connect one-on-one. If you don't want to participate in the class to tell people what you are going through, you feel free to chat, feel free to confidently, we can talk. I'm coach and mentor to a lot of my students, a lot of startups that have gone on to raise millions of dollars in funding, okay, and have accomplished a life of abundance already over the last 10 years. But this clarity of purpose, because every soul has a purpose. Now, as a human, we have to resonate with that purpose. So first we got to connect with our inner world. And I want to tell you, each one of you has one special outstanding quality which perhaps no one else has. And that you have to discover about yourself. Right? So, like in my case, what was my quality? My quality was simple, that I could build relationships effortlessly. Wherever I went, I was helping by nature, very ethical. And I think just one quality, which is building relationships with people, and that came from different stratas of society. That was all that I realized is my accomplishment or my
Sir,
quality. Yes?
so sorry to disturb, but I have a question here.
Yes,
You
please.
said, yeah, building relationships is something which helped you in your life.
Yes, Deepali.
But with for me also building relationships are very easy. This is something I like to do and I do. But maintaining it to a point, and then if there is some issue, not getting hyper or not getting angry with that person is something which is not in my control. I mean, I like that person. I like to be that. I want that person to be in my circle.
Yes.
But if there's something, some issue going on, or some disagreement between us, I cannot keep quiet and let it go. I
Yes.
have to tell that person that this is wrong. You are doing it wrong. This is not the way. And when I say, and see, if I confront the issue, that's when the problems start.
Hmm.
Even in professional life, even in personal life, both. This is the scene in both the cases.
Yes.
So that's when you are like, "Arey, I've lost this person now. Now this person will not come to me for help."
Yes. Very beautifully put, Deepali. And thank you for bringing that, because that's where, you know, forgiveness comes. That's where tolerance comes. That's where respect for each other comes. when we're talking about forgiveness, when something like that happens, that's where art of communication comes. That we communicate in a way where we talk about the issue. We don't say you are bad. Huh? There are two ways of communicating. You say, how bad you are, you did this. But there's another way. We say, look, we have a fantastic relationship. I really respect you. And I can't understand why this was done, because what you did was, I take it as a very bad thing that you did for me. And I don't think that's you. I just want to understand you better. What made you do that? So, the art of communication, conveying, where we are talking and focusing on the issue and not judging the other person as bad. Huh, Deepali? What breaks relationship is when judgment comes in. When we sit on the judgment seat and we start judging people. And these are some of the things that we are not, if we practice the art of communication and practice consciously that we are not going to judge people. Basically, everyone has God in him or her. We respect that God in him. That's why we do namaste. Namah aste. I'm bowing before the God in you. So, and then having that bond where the other person also respects that. And if still it will happen that the other person will not understand that time, but maybe after, give it time. Relationships need time. But you be the giving person, don't carry the grudge. Why relationships get broken is because we carry the grudge. So next time when there is a opportunity to give again, we stop giving. Don't stop giving. Continue wishing him or her on her birthday. Continue doing exactly what you were doing earlier. Don't let any change come in your behavior. And that's the spiritual behavior. Remember what I said? Spirit loves to be giving. Spirit loves only the positive, and spirit loves to reside in a strong inner world. When you are not practicing tit for tat policy, when you are a giving person at all times, a respect gets generated over a period of time, and day will come when that person will turn to you and will come and say, ha, yes, what I did was wrong. And maybe even if he doesn't apologize, that's okay. You should forgive in your heart, and you don't have to say. Because I don't know if you were there in my lecture on forgiveness that we had recently at your institute, where it was a 1 day full program. And I'm sure that lecture is there on the Facebook. I'll share the link with some of you. You can go through it. Because forgiveness is also an art. And when you are forgiving somebody, actually you are liberating yourself. When you are not forgiving somebody, you are like a fish which is caught in a net. And what happens to the fish which is caught in the net? It is
It's stuck there.
stuck there. So by not forgiving somebody who has hurt you, you are like that fish. So you're not doing that person a favor by forgiving that person. You are liberating yourself, because that limitation has come on you because all the time you are there with that thought. So what you got to say is, look, I am forgiving you, not because what you did to me was right. In fact, it was wrong. I consider it as wrong and I am hurt, but I am forgiving you because I want to liberate myself. All right. So there are a few things if you do when these things happen. Huh, Deepali? You will see that relationship will go through maybe a cycle. but it will recover over a period of time. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir, but forgiving is not very easy. I
Notice.
mean, if someone has hurted me, how will I forgive that person? It will obviously take a bit time, but yeah, it's a bit difficult to reach at that pace of life.
Now, see, there's an attitude you require to bring in on table. Hmm? When you are holding a grudge against somebody, huh? It's like holding a burning coal. You're angry, right? It's like holding a burning coal in your palm. How long you want to burn your palm? So
Not so long.
what you are saying is very right. It's not easy. But you see, that is actually detrimental to your inner world. What is it creating? Negative emotions of anger, right? Now we are become conscious. We are different from other human beings, right? We are learning the technology of creating a strong mind. That is what we are learning. We are learning mind engineering. Some of you who are engineers, if you've gone to engineering college, spent 5 years, you are in these sessions learning the art of mind engineering. And in mind engineering, we are not going to hold this anger. It is very natural and human to feel angry, but it requires the art of engineering that we are not going to hold angers, and that's where forgiveness comes. I have better things to do in my life. There are 10 things for me waiting, right? Which I need to focus on. But I'm not able to focus on them. Why? Because I'm holding this coal in my palm. I try to do that and the same thing keeps coming back at me. So with little practice, by removing your attention, once you have forgiven, truly forgiven, don't even let that thing come in your mind. If it comes, it'll come. Immediately divert your attention to something positive that you're doing. All right. And when we are talking about, remember yesterday I talked about Silva method. I talked about power of subconscious mind. Now, whatever I'm telling you, I am practicing, okay? If I told you that you can speak to someone subconsciously, would you believe? Try this. Early morning hours. Whoever has made you upset, you have a conversation, a positive conversation. Do that for 3-4 days, early morning, if that person is very important. Now I'm giving you certain incidents that you will resonate with. Has it happened that you are thinking of somebody and that person hasn't called you, and suddenly because you were thinking the person calls? Put it in the chat box. Has it happened with you? Dipali? I need one person.
I'm thinking. As a person, I mean, I can't think of anything like this recently. If I think of someone, I directly call them. I don't wait for their call.
That's you. But it happens that somebody you've been wanting to meet suddenly shows up. Okay? Something that you are thinking of suddenly happens. There is a food item, a dish that you've been wanting to eat, and somebody just sends it to you. I mean, there are so many incidents like that occur in our life which go unnoticed sometimes. Okay? If you have heard the word serendipity, have you heard?
Yes, sir.
So these are words which have been included in the dictionary because people experience them over and over again. चलो सब कुछ छोड़ो, मैंने तुमको बोला था that you want to get up, you don't have an alarm clock. Of course, that's not possible these days with mobiles. But if you just command your mind and say, I want to get up at 5, Somebody says, tell your pillow and sleep. And you tell the pillow and sleep and you get up at 5. Karke dekhna aaj. So what I'm saying is that, we can communicate with people, that we can connect with people subconsciously also. So Dipali, next time, because I think you are the CR, so that's why you experience a lot of these things, right? And I can see that the class you are handling will have challenges. I know that. So because that's the way most CR's job is, right? And therefore, whatever we are discussing, but since the entire class is, and I hope everyone's listening, if everybody, and suppose our class was the organization, and let's say we were starting a company like Amazon, we were just starting, right? And there were 41 of us. How important it is for us to create robust inner worlds where there is no room for negative emotions about each other. Nobody is hurting each other. Everyone is working together. Huh? How important is that? Is it important?
Yes, sir. So it is said how many ever people are there in a group, that many brains, and every brain works differently. So coming to a single point of agreement is very difficult when you work with a large group.
Right.
So होता है ना कि सबके अपने अपने दिमाग, and everyone thinks in their own way. No one wants to listen to this person. Everyone wants to believe that I am the correct. My opinion is the final one. So no one comes to a single point after. And that's when the problem arises in a group.
See, when it comes to a point, we need to agree to disagree gracefully, right? Because remember, we are a sum total of our experiences. That's where we are different, because everyone has grown with their own experiences, and your experiences create your belief system, and your belief system creates your opinions. So when people are coming from different backgrounds and different experiences, they will have different beliefs, and therefore it's the same problem that, you remember the story of the elephant, that one person was looking at the 5 blind men touching the elephant from different sides. One person is touching the trunk. So he says, oh, elephant is like a snake. Then the other person is touching the stomach. He says, no, elephant is like a rock. Then someone is touching the feet. No, elephant is like a tree. Right? So different people, different perspectives. And there's a very beautiful picture where 2 people are standing against each other and there is a figure of 6 in between them. One person says, no, it is 9. This person says, no, it is 6. So life is like that. The fact is, if people have different perspectives and we agree to disagree and take those perspectives into our planning, then you create a great organization. But for that, we need to have respect for each other. Just because I do not agree with you does not make you bad. And that's what your soul wants. No judgments. Do not create a shattered inner world in which soul is residing. Because if you create a robust inner world and you don't let any disagreements come into you with that are creating negative emotions based on judgments of people, just because someone's your good friend, or someone's your mother, or someone's your sister, or someone's your brother, it does not give you right that they should accept you at all times. And you must respect their opinion, you must respect their perspective. And that's what soul is all about. Open heart, open mind. Right? We are not here to convince you, but yes, agreements have to be That's why, how do the corporates work? There is a board of directors. And if there are 11 directors in the board, voting happens. Some things get passed unanimously. Some things require plain majority. Company law is designed like that. Some things require 2/3 majority. But directors who vote 2/3, does it mean the 1/3 that they have not voted, people are holding grudge against them? No. Everyone has his perspective. We respect their perspective. They don't want to agree. It's fine. Right, Dipali? So the conclusion is, it's okay to be different. It's okay to have different perspective. And we respect your perspective, you respect our perspective, and therefore, if there is an organization, let's see the majority perspective, and then we go forward. That's how Google, Amazon, all these companies are being built. Pharmaceuticals, everywhere the same thing happens. So what I'm saying is, have tolerance to accept that people will be different. Right? Once you have that, your inner world will not get affected just because someone is not. It's not a big issue. Stop giving it that much importance. When you do that, you are creating an insulation for your inner world. One thing I want to tell you is protect your inner world. झूठ मत बोलो, cheat मत करो. जो भी करना है, try to find your life's purpose. You are in this class because God has guided you to come thus far. But then you got to recognize you can accomplish whatever you want. But for accomplishing whatever you want, you require a strong mind. And for strong mind, you require a strong inner world. And for strong inner world, you have to only practice positives. No scheming, no cheating, no lying. High ethics, high values, not harming anybody, not harming any form of life. On the opposite karo, to be helpful, to make a positive difference to everyone around you, create happiness within you. Now, happiness ke upar, I have separate, technology, because what is happy? Everybody wants to be happy. But usme bhi there is a technology, just the way it is. First, we will study about mind. Then we'll study about creating happiness for ourselves. And that's possible, provided you do those activities. And as I said, the technology is happiness creates success. But how do we understand it normally? That if we are successful, we are happy. No. Unhappy souls can never create success. And unhappy souls are those who are scheming, cheating, lying, doing all of that, have a shattered inner world, have a very weak mind. Small disruption and they'll break down. And that's where all these people go for external support systems, cigarettes, drugs. Why? Who are these people? Look at their minds. They're shattered minds. Very weak inner, completely shattered inner world. Of course, if you tell them, you don't have to tell them. God has plans for everyone. People recover, but they will be defensive. Right? The biggest, again, segment in the pharma is for taking people out of drugs. Countries are moving towards making marijuana legal, this, that, USA, everywhere, people have done that. Long-term effect, किसी ने सोचा नहीं है अभी. But if you see who are the people who are hooked onto these kind of things, are people who are looking for some kind of external support. When do you need an external support? I mean, you can enjoy something once in a while to experience it. That's a different thing. But if you are dependent on something permanently, then that is a very unfortunate situation, right? So inner world will create a very robust house for your soul, which will create a strong mind. That is the basic concept. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Now I am, so we have already done this. Our mind resides in our inner world, which is our creation. Okay. Inner world is your creation. What are the elements of inner world? Go back to Indian scriptures. What does it say? Spirit is energy. Its qualities are peace, love, purity, power, compassion, wisdom, bliss and happiness. ये 7 क्वालिटीज हैं. इसको सतोगुण आत्मा बोला गया है. But in addition to these 7, all the positives like empathy and compassion, forgiveness, surrender, humor, purpose, goodness, gratitude, giving, ethics, hope, ideals, all these are positive. These qualities, if you practice in your real life, this is the building block of a very strong inner world. Okay, empathy and compassion, important for organization building. If we 41 people were to create a company called Amazon or Apple, is empathy and compassion important?
Very.
Look at now all the parallels. मैंने क्या बोला? Create an inner world, because your outer world that you want to create will be a mirror image of inner world. तो अभी देखो सतोगुण में पहले देखो peace. If you have peace inside, you will have peace outside. It's important to build organization. Yes or no? Dipali, I want you to respond. One of you, so that we.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Love inside, yes. Love outside the organization. Purity meaning कोई किसी को गलत नहीं कर रहा है, सब pure. No grudge, nothing, everything positive, people helping each other with true sense of care and love, right? Power, you feel powerful inside, you create power outside for the organization. Compassion, what is the difference between empathy and compassion? We need to understand this, huh? Yes. Anyone? Is empathy and compassion important for organization? Okay, put it up in the chat box. Is empathy and compassion important for the organization?
So the difference between empathy and compassion is that empathy is that compassion requires some action. If I have compassion towards you, there's something I will do for you. And for empathy, it is not necessary to have an action.
Fantastic, Deepali. So there is a concern. Empathy is, मेरे को मालूम है, I can feel your pain. Okay, but in addition to that, if I show my concern that I'm doing something about that pain, that is compassion. Now, if this empathy and compassion you practice in your daily life, it's a fantastic way of building your inner world. Fantastic way to build your inner world. And the first focus is to build the inner world, right? फिर mind को ऊपर कैसे काम करना, we'll discuss that. So wisdom, bliss and happiness. Your internal happiness is important. Happiness कभी नहीं आएगी if you are doing anything wrong, lying, cheating. This will never create. And of course, following the highest values is how you will build your inner happiness. कुछ भी गलत कर रहे हो, remember one thing, when I go to mind, take mind sciences, I will explain to you how your mind works. You know, your subconscious mind, it just keeps on absorbing. तुम गलत कर रहे हो, कुछ बोलेगा नहीं, तुम्हारे को question उस समय नहीं करेगा. But later on, it will keep on bringing out files. And you will keep on looking at those files and you will keep on feeling bad about it. You understand? So anytime you are getting involved in a negative activity of any type, okay, please mark it that it is going to be a poisonous seed that you are sowing for your inner world. क्योंकि वो तुम्हारे को, वो कहते हैं ना, तुम्हारी आत्मा तुम्हारे को हमेशा बोलती रहेगी कि ये गलत किया था तूने, ये गलत किया था तूने. और वो जब तक तुम उसके बारे में कुछ कर नहीं लेते, उसको ठीक कर नहीं लेते, या उससे जाके जिस आदमी के साथ भी गलत हुआ माफी नहीं मांग लेते, उससे फॉरगिवनेस नहीं कर लेते, you will not be able to create a robust inner world. और अगर वो आदमी नहीं है जिंदा, तुम्हारे को अपने आप को फॉरगिवनेस करना पड़ेगा. So there are practices that you will have to do. Because I do counseling with so many students of mine, I know so many of them, they carry the guilt. How to overcome the guilt, because all this comes in your performance. All this comes in your depression. People get depressed. And that's a very big concern for so many parents, so many students today. But you're lucky. You're learning this. And hopefully you are all there listening to me. What I'm telling you is from my personal experience. Because once you have a strong mind, you will go out and accomplish. Because what universe wants to give us is limitless. You have heard people starting from scratch and gone on to build crores and crores of wealth and a lot of happiness for people, for themselves and the people that they are around them, right? So elements of our inner world are all positive. These basics, Satogun, which is peace, love, purity, power, compassion, wisdom, bliss, and happiness, plus purpose, goodness. So you have to find your purpose, goodness, gratitude, giving, ethics, ideals, all positive things. Yeah. Soul loves these positive things and makes our mind stronger. Through our experiences in the outer world, what happens is most of the time we are living in the outer world, we create the negative feelings of worrying, ego, lust, anger, hate, greed, jealousy, fear, hurt, aggression, irritation, criticism, regret. Now, these negative feelings that are created in the outer world, they impact our spirit negatively. Okay, if we don't know how to handle them. So how to handle them is also an art. Okay, because there again, I like to take your personal experiences, just the way Dipali was sharing, because worrying is, people do worry. How to handle worry, how to handle ego, how to handle lust, how to handle anger. Again, there is a technology, because these are the negative things that shatter our inner world and therefore create a weak mind. Now, how to handle, how to deal with them? Because once you know how to deal with these, in organization, actually, all the leaders are dealing with people, and people are these emotions. And when, say, those of you who are specializing in HR will have to deal with this day in and day out. Leaders deal with it day in and day out. Because if, as a corporate leader, I have to ensure that one of my verticals, that profit center head, is giving his best, then what have I to do? I have to handle him. I have to handle these emotions for him, and I have to make sure that he's managing these emotions in a way that his inner world remains strong. And once you understand this, you'll become a fantastic CEO. People will love you. You'll become an excellent leader. People will come to you because they'll feel better about themselves. They'll feel better. They'll feel more empowered. So, everything that we are talking in spirituality has an application in the practical world which you are about to join in a year. And the better you are at handling these negative emotions, better you are at keeping these negative emotions away and have a relatively lower impact on your inner world, because impact will come in, but you'll have to recover from that impact, and that is also an art. But all that will require some your personal experiences, your personal, case studies, and we can talk, because from the corporate world there are many. Okay, hurt. I can give you my personal example of how after my MBA, when I was in for campus placement, and one of the biggest banks after JBIMS, they recruited me. I went for the final interview. There were two of us from the same class. They told me on a Friday to come and pick up my appointment letter on Wednesday next week. And when I went to pick up of course, being a weekend, I celebrated whatever money I had. You know how it happens on campuses, treat, everybody asking for treat. And I ended up blowing up whatever little money I had for treat for all my friends. Now, this was the vice president of this big bank, I don't want to name, international, that had promised that next Wednesday come and pick up the letter. And this particular job was a sought after job. I mean, anybody who got into this job was really respected. So here was I on seventh heaven, blew up all my cash. People thought, oh, my life, iski to life set ho gayi. I went in. Wednesday, I go to their office, and I go to the cabin of the secretary. Secretary is not there. She is the boss inside. And in the in tray of secretary, I see that other colleague of mine from the institute, his CV. Attached with the CV was a visiting card of a very big industrialist who must have been giving a lot of business to this bank. And there was something scribbled which I didn't know. But of course, I was afraid that this other boy who came for the final interview, now he's trying to get in through this industrialist recommendation. While these thoughts were going on in my mind, the secretary came out of the room and she said, boss wants to speak to you, please go in. So I went in. And this gentleman, he then told me, Mr. Sehgal, sorry, I have a bad news for you. Unfortunately, we had to reverse our decision. And, we have given this opportunity to someone else from your campus. And I asked, sir, why? You told me on Friday that what has become different now? And he said, no, actually, of course, he gave me a different reason, which was not the real reason, because he said that we had decided to take two people from the campus, but unfortunately, now the management wants only one. Whereas historically, they had always taken one from JBIMS and one from IIM Ahmedabad. Those days, there were only these two management colleges. Guess the amount of hurt. I came back, I was completely shattered. In fact, it took me a long time. But when I spoke to my father, he said that, look, that's the divine design for you. God wants to give you something better. So whatever you are going through, just take it positively. Just have faith in the Almighty, because maybe destiny has something else which is much better to offer. Of course, the words just meant music at that time, and I was young like you, so it took a long time for me to internalize that. But I had no option. I did. But guess what happened? Divine had charted out a different path of entrepreneurship for me. And you know what? It was year 1995. The same bank, 12 years later, the president, the vice president, the team, they were sitting outside my office requesting for me to open an account with them. Same bank. That's when I came back home. I offered my special prayers to in my temple, and I shared that incident with my family, my children. So, what am I saying? How do you treat hurt? How do you prevent yourself from getting your inner world affected from hurt? It will get affected, but you have to overcome and come out of it, right? That is to have faith in the divine, that he has a better option for you. Somebody's trying to ask, is that important, Preeti? No, it's not important, but I hope I am giving you some skills. Just answer, have I given you some skills to handle the negative emotions like hurt? Maybe hurt we have talked about, others also I can give you. But unless you ask, unless you interact, you will not be able to extract the best. I can come, speak, and go. All right. I think...
Same, the way you said right now that you were disappointed that you did not get selected. The same thing happened with me last month. So we were looking for internships, and everyone here know, everyone is here working now. Now I got an internship, but at that moment I wanted a typical company. I really wanted to get into it because the profile was very nice. I did everything possible to get into it. But I was selected and my best friend got selected. So at that moment, I was questioning my ability. Like, what is wrong with me that this person did not select me? So, I mean, in that week, I was not selected to 2 companies as a ek ke baad ek, like, no, alternate days. So I was like, what is happening with me? Why am I not getting selected everywhere? Everyone was starting with their internship. I was the only person left. So the fear of not getting selected and the fear of not getting selected in the company I wanted was there in my mind. Now I have got, but the thing is, I'm not happy here, to be frank. I'm doing it for the sake of doing it. Because I have to do it as a compulsory thing for an MBA, do and 2 months internship. So for the sake of doing it, I am doing my, I'm not giving my 100% here. I am. But if I would have been selected there, I would have given more, energy and time of mine over there. So that even the thing someone said, the best is yet to come. Ye nahi to kuch aur acha milega. The same dialogues were given to me also by my family, by my colleagues, by my ma'am and everything. The same, the thing you said, Navi, the same mujhe bhi bola gaya tha. I was like, but where is the best? How do I know what is the best? I don't know this is the best for me or no. I really don't know. I'm just doing it. But still my mind is over there. Like, मुझे उधर ही जाना है, मुझे उधर ही करना है. Still it's there only.
See, so, yeah. See, there are 2 things. One is that you got to really critically analyze yourself as to what is it that the company was looking for and what is it that was lacking in you. So that is definitely a task that has to be done. Okay. Now, it could be something which is within your control to, give to that company, or maybe they didn't find that certain quality. That also happens. Okay. It happens all the time. But the fact is, remember I said that each one of you has been blessed with something very unique, which only you have, which is better than many of your colleagues. And it is the divine way of guiding you that देखो मैंने तुम्हारे को ये कैपेबिलिटी दी है, तुम उसके ऊपर नहीं फोकस कर रहे हो, पर तुम you are getting attracted in this, which is not really, this is not the garden in which you go and you are going to blossom and give flowers and fruits. Even though you are attracted to this garden, because I have not designed you for that garden. I have designed you for a different garden, a different soil. So थोड़ा सा एक इंटरनल लुक अपने अंदर झांकने की जरूरत होती है कि मेरा ट्रू स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं क्या, राइट? एंड दैट्स वेयर यू नीड अ कोच एंड मेंटर ऑलवेज. What are your inner strengths? Somebody in your institute, whoever you trust, go sit down. Then when you're starting to recognize your strengths, then you start grooming yourself in those areas and you will find your purpose, because that is the purpose of your life, right? You will get attracted to several things. That doesn't mean that divine has designed you for those things. They may not be the best. That's the faith you have to have. And once you have that faith and you conduct your life and go on building yourself based on your strength, you will discover your path, which will be unique. And that path is also the path of happiness. It's not only the money abundance. Souls, as a soul, we are born to be happy. Misery is our own creation. So this is what I say, an equilibrium, internal equilibrium. You have to think, you have to reflect, you have to spend time with yourself. Calmness is important. You have to spend those 10 minutes in pure calm, where you are talking to yourself, where you are discovering yourself. So this is one more thing. सुबह उठते से ही मोबाइल को मत देखो प्लीज. 10 minutes सुबह उठते से ही just talk to have a dialogue with yourself. Okay, I think time is up. I've taken a little extra time today, but we have to cut down, because these talks, if we talk too much, then I don't know. Were you enjoying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I want every one of you to respond with your reactions, whether you think whatever we are discussing will make you a powerful, capable employee or an entrepreneur. Yes or no? Everyone, this is your attendance sheet, huh? I have some very interesting videos which I'll show you, where we will draw parallels of all these positives that the soul loves, and the corporate world qualities that will make you successful. So when you are trying to build your internal world, that's where I said I can give you written guarantee that you will succeed in your outer world. Written guarantee. You can take it from me. But do what I'm telling you to do. Okay? Thank you. So we meet tomorrow again. Right?
Yes, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
You can keep the recording, share with me also, okay? Shraddha?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.